You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 21st day of June, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Wherever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Now, the first broadcast, that's our live training room. So that's reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you have not yet taken your 1-week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com. And at the very top of the page, there's a link that says 5-day free trial. No credit card required. Click the link, fill out the registration form, hit submit, and in most cases, same day. That would be today. We'll get your desktop set up, get your indicators indicating. You'll have the weekend to kind of get yourself familiarized with the indicators. And some markets trade over the weekend. And then your trial will officially begin on Monday. And so you'll have all 5 days of next week. Never worry about what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day that you sign up for the trial. We will always make sure that you get 5 consecutive trading days with access to everything our members have access to, with the exception of the members-only workshop on Thursday night. So even if it stretches over a weekend, no worries. If you get 2 days 1 week and then 3 days the following week, however it works out, okay? But signing up today on a Friday, Saturday and Sunday won't count against your trial, and you'll have all next week. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast at 12 noon Eastern, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's a couple different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do this once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click that link, fill out that 30-second registration form, and you're done. What'll happen going forward is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In the email, there will be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it'll automatically log you into our platform. The benefit there is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, there will be days when you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy and can't join live but want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel. It's easy to remember, youtube.com/CFRN. You already got the YouTube part memorized, so really all you got to remember is the CFRN part. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, if you will, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,500 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Just pick some days at random. Watch a little bit, fast forward a little bit, watch some more, hop to another day, do the same thing. You'll discover the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity woven through each and every daily broadcast. youtube.com/CFRN. So, our schedule today is every day. We'll start with our daily devotional, a word of prayer, and then we got some news we'll take a look at, and then we'll get into the recap of the alerts. And then about 12:45, 12:50, Michael will join us, give us a recap of everything that happened in today's live trading room. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern, top of the hour, we'll go live on the TradingView platform and do some live trading for 30 minutes. And then I'll wrap everything up with our good word for the day. So without further ado, let's get going. Now, we're beginning a new devotional topic today. We just finished The Air I Breathe. This week, for the next, starting today for 5 days, who is Jesus? Now, we all know or have our idea of who he is. We're going to really kind of dig deep into this. Today's scripture is John chapter 20, verses 30 and 31, and I'm going to share it from the Message translation. Jesus provided far more God-revealing signs than are written down in this book. These are written down so you will believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and in the act of believing, have real and eternal life in the way he personally revealed it. John 20, verses 30 and 31. So, Jesus, good or God? I mean, who is Jesus? It's a question that's been asked for centuries, even since Jesus first appeared on this earth more than 2,000 years ago. And it's a question that Jesus wants you to ask. He welcomes your curiosity, even your boldness, as you investigate him and the claims he made about himself. Throughout the Bible, we see God meeting people where they are. I'm sorry, I got distracted there. Throughout the Bible, we see God meeting people where they are, addressing not only needs, but their doubts about him and their lack of trust in him. As the psalmist wrote in Psalm 94:19, when doubts filled my mind, your comfort gave me renewed hope. One of the first questions about Jesus that has to be addressed is whether he was just a good moral teacher or actually the Son of God. We know from historians such as Tacitus, Suetonius, Pliny the Younger, and my favorite, Flavius Josephus. These were all non-believers, non-biblical sources, and they wrote many books. And they say that Jesus was a real individual who existed in their time and space. But people are divided on who exactly Jesus was while on earth. Was he just a great moral teacher, as atheists such as Richard Dawkins have claimed? A humanitarian on par with Mother Teresa? Or was he more? Those who accept Jesus as just a good moral teacher have difficulty in knowing what to do with passages such as Matthew 16, verses 13 through 19. In this story, Jesus was with his disciples and asked, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." To which Jesus replied, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven." Clearly, Jesus was affirming Peter's answer and agreeing with him that he, in fact, was God. Later, we find Jesus making equally bold claims. In John 10:22 through 32, some of the Jewish leaders asked Jesus to tell him plainly whether he was the Messiah. Jesus responded by saying, "I and the Father are one." Immediately, the Jewish leaders pick up stones to put him to death. They certainly believed that Jesus was stating he was equal with God, for they told Christ they were stoning him for blasphemy because you claim to be God. But somehow he disappeared into the crowd. As C.S. Lewis once noted, many people say, "I'm ready to accept Jesus as a great moral teacher, but I don't accept his claim to be God." That is the thing we must not say. He has not left that open to us. He did not intend to. Jesus wasn't crucified for being just a good man. He was ultimately put to death because he claimed to be God. When he had a chance to recant at the end, he did not back up or retract any of his statements. So, on day one of this devotion, who do you say Jesus is? Was he good or actually God? Think about the question in light of his presence in history. The eyewitness accounts telling the story of his miracles and resurrection from the dead, and his own claim to be God. Again, who do you say Jesus is? A couple questions for you to ponder. How would you describe your understanding of who Jesus is? How has your understanding changed over time? On what is your concept of Jesus based? What does it mean to say that Jesus is God? What difference does it make to declare that he is God? Why is it important to wrestle with the question of whether Jesus is just good or if he is actually God? How does resolving this question impact your faith in him? Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the Gospel of John, which tells us so much about who you really are. And for those non-believers who wrote those historical books during the time of Jesus, we thank you for those too, because we have confirmation from the other team. Lord, we're grateful for the signs and miracles that reveal Jesus as the Messiah. Strengthen our faith as we read and reflect on your word. Help us to believe more deeply in Jesus, Son of God, and to experience the abundant life that comes through faith in his name. May our lives be a testament to your love and grace, and may we share the good news of Jesus with everyone we meet. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen. And happy Friday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. I'm going to start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently, the Dow is down 11 points. The Nasdaq's up 37. S&P 500 is basically unchanged. The Russell 2000 is basically unchanged. In the commodity basket, crude oil down 20 cents, trading 81.09 last. Gold down $27.40, trading 23.41 last. That's a drop of almost 1.25%. Silver down $1.06, or a little over $5,000 per contract traded, trading 29.75 last. That's a drop of 3.5%. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei dropped 36 points. The Shanghai fell 7. The Hang Seng dropped 306 points, which is well over 1.5%, almost 1.75%. In the European markets at the close, FTSE down 34, the DAX down 90, the CAC down 42. So we had a red day in Asia. It was a red day for the UK. And it is at the moment a mixed Radio Friday here in the US of A. The Dow's down 11 points, which isn't much. The NASDAQ is positive by 50 points, which for the NASDAQ, the NQ, is not much. The S&P 500 is positive now by 3.5 points. The Russell 2000 is positive by less than 1 point. So, there you have it. Now, I said I had some news articles. Where did they go? No, I'm serious. Where did they go? All right. Stand fast. Pulling them up. Okay. Spotify introduced a new streaming plan for users in the United States today after raising prices for its premium plans earlier this month. The new basic plan will start at $10.99 per month for eligible users. It will have the streaming benefits of a premium plan, but no monthly audiobook listening time. Premium plans allow users to listen to offline ad-free music and 15 hours of audiobook listening per month. Spotify raised the prices for premium plans earlier in June, the latest step by the Swedish music streaming service in its push to increase margins. So if you're a Spotify fan, paying a little more than you used to. U.S. home prices. Sales of existing homes in the U.S. fell for a third straight month. while prices set another record, underscoring persistent affordability challenge that hobbled the important spring selling season. Contract closings decreased 0.7% from a month earlier to a 4.11 million annualized rate, driven entirely by a decline in the South, according to the National Association of Realtors, who released that data today. The figure was in line with the median estimates of a Bloomberg survey of economists. Meantime, the inventory of existing homes for sales has crept up recently, partly because people who've been waiting for rates to drop before listing their homes have decided they can't wait any longer. The supply of homes on the market increased 18.5% from the same month last year, but it's still well below the level seen before the pandemic when mortgage rates were much lower. That explains why prices remain elevated. The median sales price increased 5.8% from a year ago to a record $419,300, reflecting more sales of high-priced properties as well as multiple offers. Now, we talked about this yesterday. People who have a ton of money or super good credit and a high-paying job, they can still buy these very expensive homes. But eventually, that credit and that money, it's going to slowly dry up. And then I just pray we don't see 2007 all over again. If you don't think it's possible, you might want to think again. And one more. Treasury Department on Friday fleshed out a proposed rule that would restrict and monitor U.S. investments in China for artificial intelligence, computer chips, and quantum computing. The proposed rule stems from President Joe Biden's August 2023 executive order regarding the access that countries of concern have to American dollars that fund advanced technologies, which the U.S. government says would enhance their military intelligence, surveillance, and cyber capabilities. The order identified China, Hong Kong, and Macau as countries of concern. In addition to the proposed rule, Democrat Biden has also placed a stiff tariff on Chinese EVs. It's not like people are fighting to buy one. An issue with political implications, as the president and Republican Donald Trump are both trying to show voters who can best stand up to China, a geopolitical rival and major trading partner. The proposed rule outlines the required information that U.S. citizens and permanent residents must provide when engaging in transactions in this area, as well as what would be considered a violation of the restrictions. I wonder if having a Chinese oligarch send money to your shell company, I wonder if that would be affected here. He asked facetiously. Just kidding. Keeping it real. Logic 247. It's our 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. It's not just E-minis. It's also crude, gold, silver, euros, bonds. We're in week 307 of Logic 247. Over the last 307 weeks, we've issued over 16,900 individual handcrafted alerts. Valerie did this recap this morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. I put out some alerts since then, but she'll reconcile the whole week this afternoon, this evening, or over the weekend. But at the time she did the recap this morning, we had issued a total of 41 alerts since the markets opened Sunday night, keeping in mind that I didn't do anything on the Wednesday holiday. 8 still waiting on an outcome. 33 actionable alerts, of which 6 or 18% would have been stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, over the last 307 weeks and over 16,900 alerts, we've averaged on a weekly basis 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and that very simple process. So yesterday we were sitting at 17%. Today we find ourselves sitting at 18%. So maybe some of the ones we're waiting on and some of the ones I put out today will bring it down a little bit, or it could move it up a little bit. Just have to wait for Valerie to do the recap. Now with the logic alerts, this is designed not for you to just trade the alerts, so you don't have to learn how to trade. They're designed to help you learn how to read the chart. Whatever your career is, doctor, lawyer, banker, whatever, before you could obviously go to school and get that degree, when you were just a wee young man or girl, you had to learn how to read, right? I mean, yeah, you had to grind through the first grade and the second grade in high school before you finally got to college to chase the career of your dreams, but it all started when a teacher taught you how to read. When you look at a chart, if you don't know anything about trading, it just looks like chaos. But every chart tells a story. And the Logic 247 alerts are designed to help you learn how to read that chart and get you to the point where you could look at any chart of any market at any time and instinctively know what the next high probability move is. Our goal is for you to become self-sufficient. As long as you're dependent on somebody else to tell you when to get in and when to get out, you're not going to trade for a living. You got to learn to read the chart. So use these as intended. They give you the entry price, the initial target, any additional targets, final trade to target. And in a one-on-one mentoring session, I'll teach you how to use these to learn to read the chart. Now, long before we had Logic 247, and remember, Logic 247 is 307 weeks old, about twice that long ago, we rolled out our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Now, they're a little bit different in a number of different ways. Okay. First, you work the logic alerts and learn how to read the chart. Then step up to the CTAs, the concierge trade alerts. Now, a logic alert can come out at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. You see, futures trade around the clock, and we have traders around the globe. So a logic alert could come at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. But the CTAs are published as a static report shortly after the Globex open each evening. We all know this is the Friday session, but it began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. 10 minutes after the open, I published these targets for all of our members. Now, what you do when the report is published is you make a note, go to the 30-minute chart of whatever markets you actually trade, make a note where price is or was at the time the report was published. It'll always be between these two numbers, no matter which market. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target, a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. Pretty simple. BBC is the green line you see on all my charts. Stands for bull-bear cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and anticipate higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and anticipate lower prices. Always relative to whatever time frame you apply it to. For the purpose of the alerts, logic, and CTAs, it's always a 30-minute chart. Now, this is where you start learning to look left to spot potential obstacles, previous swing highs and swing lows, and you learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. That's important because price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon, price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone above. If price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone below. We've published the zones every week for our members since December 14th of 2009, closing in on 15 years. They're published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, and once they're published Monday morning, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They do not change in any way whatsoever. Once you really understand how price behaves around a weekly zone, the zones will become one of the most important tools in your trading toolbox. Just resist the urge to make it more complicated than that. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. Now let's go take a look, see. At the daily chart. If you were in the workshop last night, I said that what I anticipated was that price would come down and find potential support at the 62% fib extension. You see the black step line has crossed blue and climbing. When that happens, that tells us that price is going to attempt to retrace to the BBC. This green line, bearish below it, bullish above it. Now we're still above it, but because the step line has crossed blue and climbing, we came down to support, the support held, and so we're just off the high of the session. But what's important is we know that unless price can get above blue and climbing, lower prices are coming. Now the reason I'm even looking at a daily chart is because institutional traders, the ones who actually move price because of their account size and the size they trade in, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Again, it has to do with account size. So, if you will train yourself, no matter what you trade, futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, if you'll train yourself to spend 2 minutes with the daily chart before you begin your trading session on your smaller time frames, you can see what the deep pockets are up to. You can see where major support and major resistance are. We know that step line is major resistance. Blue and climbing because they're directly above price. Major resistance. Major support. This low right here, major support. And right here, the 24% fib retracement and the daily BBC, support times 2. You see, on your smaller time frame, you can't see all that information. So what you're doing is you're literally looking over the shoulder of the traders who move price. And really, all you have to do is what they're doing long enough to get your goal for the day, and then have the discipline to just put the mouse away. I'm going to put you on hold for 1 second. Hang on for me. Okay, we're back. Now, the vertical lines that you see right here separates today Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and if we scroll back, you see Monday. These are the zones that were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. When price drops to a zone, we expect support. When price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. So 10 minutes into the life of this 30-minute candle right here, that's when I issued the CTA targets. Now, price was trapped between resistance at the BBC and support at blue and climbing. Price always reverts to the mean. In other words, price always pulls back to the BBC. It holds more often than it doesn't. You see, when you pull down from above, it holds, it holds, it holds, it holds. When you pull up from below, it holds. And so, even though we got very close to the short target early last night, today, when blue and climbing turned to red and falling, price dropped. This candle right here, it dropped to the target to the tick. And then it continued through to the zone where it found support like it did yesterday. Support bounced us up to resistance, back down to support, spiked it pretty good, but both candles were still touching. Now we've bounced up to the BBC, we've closed above it. Now we're pulling back to the BBC from above. If that pullback holds, we could see higher prices. If this pullback fails to hold, then we head back to support at the weekly trading zone. On the Dow, here's the open last night. Again, price was trapped, resistance, support. We actually traded through the BBC right here, one candle, and then right back up into the snarl, and then we got our move up to the long target. And right now, blue and climbing, you see price pulled up to the BBC. Now we expect that pullback to hold until proven otherwise. And the fact that blue and climbing has turned to red and falling makes me think there's an even better chance that it will hold. So we need to wait for price to get below these swing lows. And we could trade down to here, potential support, and then down to here, potential support. On the Russell, here's where we opened last night. Pulled up to the BBC, attempted to get to the short target. There was plenty of room to get your goal for the day, but we didn't quite get to the target. Back up to resistance, and then down to the target and the zone. Now, that's the 9:30 open. There's a lot of volatility. That's why we spiked it. But the support held, sent us back to the BBC, and it's been acting as resistance now for 1, 2.5 hours. If price can get above the BBC, you got potential resistance there, potential resistance there, then you're at the zone, which we expect to be resistance till proven otherwise. On the NQ, here's where we open. Drop to blue and climbing, support. That set us up to the zone and the BBC. That's resistance times 2. And it sent us all the way down to the target. When the market finds support, it will go look for resistance. When it finds resistance, it will go look for support, which it found at the zone. When it finds support, it will go look for resistance, which it found at the zone. Now we're above the BBC. We're printing a red candle. We would want to see price get up here before we started trading Crude oil. Crude opened last night and just hugged. It spent all night just hugging that. Then it bounced up to the long target, found resistance, which sent it back to support, back to resistance, and then we dropped through the zone, and we've now traded through the short target. This is the highest weekly trading zone for crude for the whole week. Now, there's been a couple times we popped above it, but the rule is by close of business on Friday, if price has exceeded the highest or lowest zone, by close of business on Friday, we expect it to be at, in this case, at or below the highest weekly zone. And it looks like that just might be how it turns out. I mean, there's still a few hours to go, so things could change. Now, look left, but there's a lot of room down to the next zone. So, could be some good shorting opportunities. Michael should be here in just a few minutes. This was the opening candle last night. We overcame red and falling. This one candle right here, it opened at 23.76 half and ran up basically 78 half. So about $200 per contract traded available. Price pulls back to the zone support and the BBC support. Support sends us back to resistance at the target. Target sends us back to support at the zone, back to resistance, and then things came undone. When that 8:30 news came out, look at this drop. Through the target, all the way down to this zone. Now notice how the step line is starting to hook right. If that step line crosses red and falling, you should expect price to try to get all the way back to the BBC. Silver opened here. Barely overcame yesterday's high, but it never overcame red and falling. It spiked it, but it pushed it down below the BBC. Market found support off this low from yesterday, which sent it up to the BBC, resistance, which sent it down to the target and the zone, support. Support sent it to resistance. Resistance sent it to support. We've been consolidating for hours. 1, 2, 3.5 hours we've been consolidating at this zone. Only 3 things happen at a zone. 70% of the time is consolidation. 20% of the time is rejection. 10% of the time is the slice. And this is what consolidation looks like. Right there. The euro. Here's where we opened last night. We ran up this high right here. Resistance. And then we dropped all the way to this zone. Support. Support sends us up to resistance, down to support, back to resistance, down to support. Notice we have a low, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, and now price is getting above the BBC. It's got to take out this little double top, triple top, quadruple top, but it's only got this much room to run to the zone, and then right there, bearish cross. And there it is. Now, Michael's going to be here in just a second, but I've got to take care of something real quick. Guys, I'll be right back. I got to take care of this real quick. But Michael will be here in a minute. He'll grab the charts. He'll give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. Then we'll go live on TradingView for 30 minutes. 30 minutes of live live trading. And then I'll come back and wrap things up with our good word for the day. All right, just sit tight. Michael will be here in just a couple minutes.
Here. Okay. Now I gotta work it right. D. There you go. Okay. I will now get the question box out. Can you guys hear me all right? Because I can't hear Dwayne at all. Anybody out there, can you hear me okay? It says my audio should be working just fine. All right, thanks guys. All right, he left for a minute. Okay, well then I will just jump in and take it over. Thank you. Here we go. I have control. Thank you for letting me know that. And he may have actually sent a message to me over here somewhere. No, he did not. Not that I can see. He did not. All right, so here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 21st day of June, 2024. So, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on this purple button right here. All right, when you click on the purple button, I have not updated it yet. But when you click on a purple button, it's going to bring you to a registration page. It looks something like this one. No, it's going to bring you to a registration page where all we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the bottom, it's going to give you the opportunity to give us your NinjaTrader machine ID and your TradingView login ID. If you give us that information, then we will be able to enable the indicators for you on your desktop. Okay. I knew there was something I was supposed to do during the break that I didn't get done, and that would be this right here. All right. So I will fix that over here on this screen, probably. Here. Hang on a second. Do it on this one. Go to ABC. That. And yeah, so the spreadsheet. Now today we ended up worse than we started off today. We ended up with just $85 a contract. But if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Okay. Today we ended up with plus 16 on the NQ, plus 5 on the Russell, and plus 21 on the YM, and we had one stop out on the ES, so minus 10. That minus 10 there on the ES just killed us. Now when you're not up, like, I don't know, a whole bunch, yeah, minus 10 on the ES really takes the wind out of it because it's $12.50 a contract. It is what it is, though, and it happens. Hang on a second. I'm actually going through here and finishing up this task that I forgot to do during the break. And I will now be done with that. Publish that. Do that. All right. So on the morning, we ended up with $85 a contract. Right? It took us 13 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal today. At that point, we're up 3,150. I think we're at $175 a contract at that point. And we took a total of 16 trades. Now, this is why you quit trading when you get your goal for the day, right? Especially on a Friday. Quit trading when you get your goal for the day. On a month now, we're at $4,082. It's over 14 business days, averaging $291 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year now, we're at $44,572 over 115 business days, averaging $387 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, and you were to add, one contract per month. So far this year, you'd be on your 6th contract. In the 6th month, you'd be on your 6th contract. You would have made $53,809 over 41.88 hours. You'd be averaging $1,284 an hour. If you started like I did at the beginning of last year, you'd be on your 18th contract now. Because I'm on my 18th month of the 24/20 blueprint, and I'm averaging $6,041 per hour. $6,041 per hour. All right. That's for all that stands. Now, it is now 12:57, so I'm not sure. Dwayne had some issues with the live stream yesterday, or I had some issues with the live stream yesterday. Let me go out to the live stream here and see if everything seems to be functioning. Hang on. It's unusual for him to step away like this. So I will just check it out. Yep, the live stream is functioning just fine. All right. So that's all good. Now, the trades that we did take and all that stuff, let's get into that. All right. Let me pop that off so you don't need to see that. I did the lesson plan while I traded today because, well, I could. On the YM, we didn't start out right there. On the YM, we started out back here. All right, our first trade on the YM was right here. We had 1 tick profit on that. The next one was right here. We had 10 ticks profit on that. Then here we had 20 ticks profit on that one to get us to 31. And then we stopped out right there. I probably should have had my stop at break even, but I didn't get a great entry. That put us back down to 21, and we had 1 break even trade right there. I think that's where we stopped trading on the YM. There was 1 blue arrow there, and this one right here. I'm sorry that I missed this one for the end of the session. That was a good one right there. When we were running out of stuff at the end of the session, running out of opportunities. There was that one right there, and then right as we were talking about the European markets closing, there was this one here and this one here, and then everything started to recover a little bit when European markets did close. All right. So we had 1 blue arrow here during the break that would have stopped out. And it's got a green arrow that's working out right now. It's already gone enough to get your stop to break even. I'd be out of this trade if I was taking this trade right here. Okay, and that was the YM. So the Russell this morning, we had, what did we end up with on the Russell? We had just 1 trade, 5 ticks in profit. It was right here. This was our only trade on the Russell this morning. We got 5 ticks in profit on that one. How, you asked, did I get 5 ticks in profit out of this blue arrow trade right here? I entered on the pullback. So I entered in here somewhere and I got 5 ticks in profit, more on the green than blue. Still, it was just 5 ticks though. And we didn't do anything else. The markets have gotten really sideways this afternoon. Really, really sideways this afternoon. The ES. Now, I did have 1 ES trade on at the end of the session this morning. I was long in here, but on a 30 tick range. And so my stop on a 30 tick range was down here somewhere. And it ended up working out okay. It went up pretty good, pretty well up here. I'm out of the trade now. But during the session, we only had this 1 ES trade right here, and that stopped us out, minus 10 ticks. Since then, it had a blue arrow here, it didn't go anywhere, a blue arrow here, that did eventually go somewhere, it took it a while, and blue arrow here that's trying to move down right now. Okay, is not great trading today on any of the markets really, but not great trading on the ES for sure. On the NQ, now, it was quadruple witching Friday today. Quadruple witching Friday. It's a whole lot of witching, seems like, doesn't it? Let's do the alt and over thing so we don't have to struggle through this too much. Here we go. And there we go again. All right. So, moving over here right now. This right here was the very first trade on the NQ. We picked up 4 ticks on that one, and then this is where we got our goal. We picked up 30 ticks on that one right there. The next opportunity that we took advantage of was over here. We ended up with the break even there, and then here, this was an accident. I didn't mean to get into this, and I lost 8 ticks on that, 2 points on that one. I didn't mean to get into it. I didn't cancel the order fast enough on this break even trade. And it made me long right here. When it whipped back up, it made me long where my stop was still here, and it ran up 2 points against. Well, it ran up and then it ran right back down. So by not taking out my original stop up here, when it ran up here really fast, this gap right here, it gapped up and it hit that, and then I was long, and then it started to run right back down, and I managed to get out with just a two point loss on that. And it wasn't an intentional trade for sure. But here we stopped out again, and this one we did actually lose a full 20 ticks on. And then the next trade we took was in here. I think it was right about here. We picked up 30 ticks to get us to 36. Then we had a break even, and then toward the end of the session, we had another break even there, and we had this stop out right here toward the end of the session. That put us down to 16, and one more break trade right here. And that was the end of the morning session for me. Okay, that was the end of the morning session for me. During the break, if we bump this down, you can see during the break there were some decent opportunities in here. Some nice blue arrows there. Well, one nice blue arrow there. That one would have stopped you out. It was an opportunity to get to break even on that one and that one. And as we continue to move sideways, we have a green arrow short. It's actually on right now. This green arrow short, it's actually on right now. And we anticipate that this is going to get all the way down here to the price swing low. Okay, that price swing low is down here at 987. 987. That's about a 6-point trade from where the entry should be, which is right up here. Okay. All right. Well, that was what we did in the morning session. We ended up positive on the NQ. 16 ticks. Let's look at here. Positive on the NQ, 16 ticks. Positive on the Russell, 5 ticks. Positive on the YM, 21 ticks, and minus 10 on the ES. That minus 10 on the ES got us down to 180. Got us down to 85 bucks a contract. Our lowest day of the month so far. And that's even considering that one day where I only traded one contract, right? Yeah, right here I only traded one contract. I still ended up with $335 a contract. It is what it is. We ended up with just 85 this morning. So on the month now, we're at $4,082. That's over 14 business days, averaging $291 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year, we're at $44,572. So 115 business days, averaging $387 per contract per 2-hour business day. If you were following the 2120 blueprint, all this stuff is the same as I said a minute ago. You add one contract for every $2,000 that you earn. So the idea is to have a goal that you get every day. For us, the goal is $100 minimum. And when you get to that $100 mark, you stop trading. If you did that the way that I did so far this year, you would have only had to work 41.88 hours, and you would have averaged $1,284 per hour. If you started last year, it would be 18 contracts now, and you would have worked the same 41.88 hours this year, and you would have averaged $6,041 per hour. Okay, $6,041 per hour on the year. All right, that is all of that stuff, guys. Now, let me see this. It is time to get into the live stream stuff. So the live stream is running. Is over there, and it is running right now. I don't see any questions in there right now. I see Dwayne is back. I see him typing some stuff in there. That's good.
Yes, thank you. Somebody was at my door, and so
okay,
I had finished everything, and I knew you'd be here within a minute or two. Yeah. So, okay,
awesome. I just grabbed it and ran with it. Everybody told
Beautiful.
me to step to it. So it worked out fine. So the live stream is starting right now. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button right here. That is now going to bring you to the right page, which I set up just a minute ago. Click on that. It's going to bring you to next week's stuff. Here it is. All right. And on this page, all that we ask for is your first name, your last name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the bottom, we ask for your NinjaTrader machine ID. If you have Ninja, give us that. Your TradingView login ID. If you have TradingView, give us that. If you have both, give us both. All right. If you have both, give us both. And we'll set you up. All right. That is what I am asking of you guys. Now, let's see. On the NQ right here, we are going sideways. The outer bands are pretty flat. I'm not really interested in taking that green arrow right there. On the Russell right now, we put in a higher swing. We need to pull back on that. That was off the purple arrow here. Now, the purple arrow is just like a blue arrow, except it doesn't come out of the oversold. Okay, in this case, it's just like a blue arrow, except it's not coming out of the oversold, and the outer bands are in favor of the trade. In the meantime, the ES is giving us a short right here. The ES is giving a short right there where it is, and This is a ribbon trade right here. Okay, this is a ribbon trade. It looks like it hit the black line, but I'm not really sure that it did. But it's not coming out of the overbought, and it's not going down. This has to be going down to give you the purple arrow. If this were going down and the outer band were red like this, we'd have a purple arrow right here. But because that's not the case, it's just a plain ribbon trade. It's just a very slight difference in the purple arrow and the ribbon trade. Okay, but that's what's going on here on the ES. So it is a valid short trade from right there if you want to take it. If you want to wait until it goes up a little further and then it comes out of the overbought and gives you an actual arrow, you can do that. But I took it here. Okay. It should go down to right there. That's where it's trying to get down to. The pullback number is actually up here just beyond the stop. But we'll just leave the orders down here because this is where it really wants to go. The charts are suggesting it's going to go down. It's got a weekly trading zone right here that should draw it down. The numbers are getting bigger down here, so I'm going to bump it down a little bit more. We just hit 4 ticks in profit. So I'm throwing the stop at break even. It did hit 34, didn't it? Yeah, it did hit 30. Okay, so we're out of this trade at break even anyway. Let's see. We have now on the NQ here. We're going sideways in a no trade zone here, so we're not going to take any trades there. I didn't want to take this green arrow right here because the outer bands were flat. We didn't really have any trend going on. All right, I did take the short here. I ended up with a break even. The Russell now is pulling back down. It needs to hit the ribbon and bounce. Right in the oversold here. So if we did get an up close from here, that pulled us out of the oversold. It would give us a black arrow right now. I'm not really interested in trading that black arrow right now. Okay. That's where everything stands. Now, has anyone asked any questions that I have not answered? I don't think so. I think I got all the questions that were asked as of this point. All right, so back here, all good stuff. And we are in the Russell right now. We need to pull back. We're not going to have anything here. Over on the ES, because we took this trade, we can't take another one. So this is what I was saying earlier. If you want to wait for it to pull back up and hit the ribbon and then give you something with an arrow as it comes out of the overbought, you can wait for that. And right now, if it gave you a down close and pulled it out of the overbought right now, it'd give you a blue-purple arrow. Purple. But if it goes up one more tick, then it would be a green arrow because it'd be hitting the black line on the pullback. Okay. And there it is hitting that black line on the pullback. All right. Well, that's what we got right now. Okay. So we'd be looking for a down close here. Down close on the ES, that is going to give us a green arrow. That'd be 37.50 down to 35.50 right now. 37.50 down to 35.50 on that one. Okay. And there it is. Oh, went right into a no trade zone. All right. Well, it came out of here, but it went right into a no trade zone. So this isn't actually going to give you any kind of an arrow because you went into a no trade zone. All right. So you're not getting any kind of an arrow there, and it's not a trade. I was really looking for the green arrow on the down close, but the no trade zone took us out of it. All right. So now we have to Just wait a little bit more, it looks like. Just looking over here to see. What's happening? Oh, you're on the NQ right now. It does have an actual trade there on the NQ. That's a ribbon trade on the NQ. Again, it's if this were going up, you'd have a purple arrow on it. It's going right into the weekly trading zone. I just realized that. Okay, so because it's going right into the zone, I'm just going to throw my stop right at break even on it. Okay, I didn't realize it was going right into the zone, so I'm going to stop my stop at break even, and now I'm going to lock in some profit. 8 ticks, and so I was going for 16, but I'm guessing I'm just going to get the 8. All right, I didn't realize it was going right into the zone there. I don't know why I didn't see that. I was focused. Tunnel vision right here. My tunnel could not see this little space right here. Anyway, it's pulling back. It's going to give another trade in the same direction at the same weekly trading zone. It did put in a higher swing, so you can't take another trade there if you want to. Over here on the Russell, we pulled back. We're testing the ribbon right here. We've got a low here of 40.4. 40.4. So from 40.4, we want to see it give us an up close. 8 ticks higher than that. 41.2 is what you'd be buying on that. Just like this. Buy stop limit. 8 ticks above the bottom of the bar. 41.2 is 8 ticks above the bottom of the bar. So that's what we're looking for now with that trade. Okay, if it happens, we'll be in it. If it happens. All right, so the bottom of the bar is still steady. It's staying where it was. So as long as the bottom of the bar stays where it is, then we won't have to change the price or order. Okay. You know how to tell that? Let's see if price gets right below here. Over here on the YM, it's actually about to give a trade in the opposite direction. So the markets are all mixed up here. We got no trade zone and no trade zone, a possible long and a possible short. On quadruple witching Friday. Seems like a day you probably wouldn't want to trade, right? All right. I feel like I'm missing something over there on the YM right now. We got the down close off the ribbon over there on the YM. We're in the overbought. We didn't come out of the overbought. That's why we don't have an arrow there. The low on this bar is still the same place on the Russell. We didn't come out of the overbought on the YM. We really needed to get a green arrow at this point. Okay. We're almost there on the Russell trade. Almost there. Does anybody have any questions for me at this point? You know, I always ask that. Hoping somebody's got a good question that's going to lead me into some long conversation. Get into one of my rabbit holes. We're just about triggered here on the Russell. All right, the high of the bar is going to be right here at 41.1. So we get that, we should trigger right here at 41.2. And then we'll be looking for it to get up to this swing high at a minimum here of 42.4. right up there. Here, I'll put it on. See if it drags it up there. Total number of contracts. So we got the green arrow over there on the YM. Green arrow short on the YM. I don't have anything yet on the Russell, but with the green arrow short over there on the YM. So we are looking now for that to move down. We're just going to go with the green arrow over there. It's the first one that happened. Go with that. Stop should be 10 ticks away. It is. We need 4 ticks in profit. We should get that because it's trying to get down to this number right there. I thought it just had a number down there too, but I didn't see it. Can't confirm it yet. There it is right there. It did have a number down there. This is where it's trying to get. Okay, the Russell didn't trigger yet, and the YM's about to go to break even. The NQ's starting to move down a little bit over here. Hasn't quite done it yet. How far away is that? That's a 10 tick target down there. Sorry, 10 tick stop, 10 tick target. That's good. One more. There it is. Stop to break even. Get rid of that. Now we have our 10 tick target in place. Stops that break even, 10 tick target in place. Canceling the Russell trade here. We don't have a Russell trade. Gotta lock in some profit on the YM. And we're out of the YM now. It should get down there to 557. Right? I know it just took me out with a couple of ticks, but 557 is where this is really trying to get down to. And right there, it just did get right through it. Well, that's good. So now we'll just wait for the next opportunity. Okay. The next opportunity is now 1:20. We have 10 minutes left. The next opportunity is coming up over here pretty quickly on the NQ, it looks like. Okay, so get ready over there. It's going to be a black arrow from here. If you want to wait for it to pull back up and give you a different color arrow, you can, but this isn't a terrible black arrow right here. Okay. I'm trying to put my stop at break even. I just was paying over here to show you and put my stop at break even, and it just took me out with 30 ticks in profit. I am in and out of that trade already with 30 ticks in profit. I got in a little early on that one. Got in like right there. But so we got 36 in profit on them. And over here, we did pull back and hit the ribbon. We did put in a lower swing on the YM. The ES is right inside its weekly trading zone right here. This did not put in a lower swing either over here on the NQ. If you didn't take the black arrow trade with me, you have an opportunity to take another trade if it bounces off the ribbon here. Okay, if you didn't take that trade with me, then you still have an opportunity to get in there and take another trade. That is it for that. All right, here comes the other opportunity for you. Now, I didn't put in a lower swing for my entry, so I can't take this, but you might have a green arrow trade right here. Might. If this closes up, there's no way. If it closes down, it's still not one I would want to take right now. Nope, it's no trade. Okay. All right, but you do have a green arrow trade over here on the YM that you can do. I can also do that one. I think I will right now. I just did. Okay. So I'm short the YM at 58 right here. Now the YM should go down here to the prior swing low. That's what it should do right now. I know the NQ pulled back pretty deep right here, but the pullback on the NQ, remember, those of you guys that were there this morning, I was saying how a big run like this kind of screws things up because it takes the ribbon a little while to catch up to it. And you got to have a pullback that's proportional to the leg down. Well, that's what we're dealing with over here on the NQ right now. That's why we didn't end up with the second trade. But over here on the YM, I did just take that trade, and I need to find my DOM so I can pump my stop to break even. Actually bump it to +2 ticks because this should go down below the prior swing low. Prior swing low is down here at 542. So it should go down at least to right there. It should go through there. That'd be 16 ticks if it gets down there right now. And it should go through that. So I'm just going to lock in a little bit more on this right now. And I'm looking for a number down here that's going to pop that's really going to draw my attention to it. And so far, just the 21 is the only thing that's popping. So I'm going to go all the way down there. And now we're out of that trade with like 17 ticks, I think. 15 ticks. All right, but that was a pretty easy trade to take there. The green hour trade over here on the YM. And you see the NQ did end up going down. Remember what I said this morning and what I said in the partners meeting last night and about this being a proportional move. So now, we've had some pretty good trades in here so far in this session. If I should say this, I suppose, if you've not taken the free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. When you click on that, you can be brought to this registration page. On this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Okay, name, email, and phone number. There's no credit card required for the trial. Give us your machine ID if you have an trader. Give us your TradingView login ID if you have TradingView. Right? That is all that you really need to do to get things going with us. Right, the NQ's pulling back and hitting the ribbon again. I'm going to have another trade there. We did put in a lower swing. We just need the down close. Doesn't even need to, at this point, doesn't even need to come out of the overbought. Okay, because we didn't hit the black line. Go ahead, Dwayne.
If you can flip the ES to a 30-minute for just a second.
Sure. Here it is, right here. And let me make this something easier to read. Okay, I'm in the NQ, by the way. Here, NQ, going to break even on that.
See that green arrow
yes.
down on the 30-minute?
This one right here.
Yep.
Yes, I do.
Right, that's it. I just want to point that out.
Yep. And I would look for it to get all the way down here to 519, right? And we just got another 30 ticks right there on the NQ.
Good job.
So that was a ribbon trade right there on the NQ. So we've had some really nice trades here in this period. We've had some really nice trades. 2 30-tick trades on the NQ. A couple of decent trades here on the YM, 1 2-tick and 1 15-tick. And we ended up with nothing here. We were looking for a trade here on the Russell, but we ended up with nothing. Now the NQ's got another one I left.
The next zone down is 55.13/14 on the ES.
55.13/, yeah, I have it right here.
Yep.
Right here.
Yep. That's right.
This is the next zone down. The midpoint is right here near the prior swing low is the midpoint at 522. So that would be a good target number. If you're short the ES right now, that would be a good target number for you in there. Looking, I'm short the NQ again right here. And I'm throwing my stop at break even again on that. These are some great leg lengths that we're having right now on the NQ. Those of you guys that were in the meeting last night and this morning, and when I talked about leg lengths, I say, oh, that's a great leg length. That usually happens when I say that. It's because we've had a great leg length and I expect we're going to have more. When you get something that's messed up, well, not messed up, when you get a good run like this, it throws things off, right? Because just the way the numbers are, they normalize and it throws things off a little bit. And then it takes it a little bit of a sideways movement like this to get it back into sync. And then you get a leg down, a leg up, and a leg down, a leg up. And you should have another leg down right now. We didn't get the leg down. I ended up with a break even on that, but we should get the leg down. Should have gotten the leg down here. But now that we didn't, let's just take this off and let's draw it in a little bit and we'll say now that we didn't get the extra leg down, and my pen, all right. So we're doing pretty well in here. We're starting to go up, then down, then up, got a little higher, then down. Didn't go, it wasn't lower, but then we failed to go up higher right there. Then this is what we could have go down below. We did, and we just kept going. So we pull back and now we start going in the other direction, right? So you got a trade coming in right here. And that doesn't put in a lower swing. So you have that first trade with nothing to follow up. Pulls back over here, puts in a lower swing here. So now you have this trade right here. Okay. And that one gets you right here with a deeper pullback than this. So that kind of messed things up right there when that deeper pullback. This here was, this turned out to be a trade too, right here, I think. If this was an actual lower swing off of this, and it doesn't look like it was, then this would have been a trade right here. But if not, then this was not a valid trade right here. I don't know if I actually did that or not. But I think there was a black arrow in there somewhere right in here. There's a black arrow in here that I took. So I got 30 ticks on that one. I think I got 30 ticks on this one. And then I got break even on that one. And this was not a trade right here. But you see how the long leg right here kind of messed things up, and it has to work itself out of that. Every time you get a pullback, it should have a retracement that is well, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a 50% retracement is what I look for anyway. But it is dependent upon the size of the leg down.
Continue the trend or not continue the trend? Is that?
Yeah, there's another word that I say that I say all the time.
Okay.
That pullback should be something of the leg down.
Okay.
But it's okay. I'm having a little mental block right now. I'm getting kind of tired. Anyway, so right here, we now have moved up, and we expect it's going to pull back and bump back up right here without having any indicators at all on the chart. Right, without having any indicators at all on the chart. That's what it should do. If you saw these drawings, we've gotten above this swing high. We didn't right here where it should have gone down. After getting to this point where it should have gone down and put in a new swing low, it didn't. It went up above and it pulled back here, and it's pushing up right now. If it gets above this level right here, then we'll have really changed the trend. I mean, if it fails to get up above that level right there, then we haven't failed to change it. I mean, we haven't changed the trend. We're just going sideways because sideways action in here. And if I put everything back on here, I don't know if it was the bottom one or the top one, but if I put it all back on here, we're probably going to be in a no trade zone right here, I think. Nope, it wasn't the top one. That was a training one. Bottom. No trade zone was back here. Okay, so this is the NQ. So we really didn't get a trade here. I'd want us to pull back and bounce off the ribbon. So this is not a trade. This was the no trade zone right here. This didn't continue the trend down. So if you take everything off the charts and use everything that we've taught, that we always teach, the indicator is going to keep you out of this. The indicator is going to guide you through all of this. But you should be able to look at a chart and say, okay, this is not a good place to trade right here. And it's not right now. It's not. The indicator is going to guide you through all that. You're going to get into another no trade zone is what I was just going to say. You're going to get into another no trade zone as the outer bands flatten out right here. And we continue to not put in lower swings and not put in higher swings. Okay. Sorry. There's a much more detailed analysis of the NQ as it's coming together than I had anticipated giving. All right. Well, it is time, guys. It is time to wrap it up for me. And I got to pass it back up to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Wayne, if you are ready.
I am.
Excellent.
Recap of the morning session.
Today it took 13 minutes and 3 trades to get to $3,150 with 18 contracts.
Awesome way to end the week.
Yes, pretty good way. Thank you, sir.
Guys, I'm going to show you. We've already finished everything, but I just want to show you this one more time. We've already been through all the markets, so if you missed it, you can go back and watch it on YouTube later. But we went all the way back up to the step. We had come all the way down to the 62% fib extension, which we talked about last night in the workshop as support. Then buyers ran it all the way back up to what we expect to be resistance, the step line. And now it looks like we're trying to push back down to that 62% fib extension. And then watch the low of this candle, about 54.85, 86. And then the 50% fib extension, 54.69/70. Then you've got the 24% fib retracement. That's the shallowest fib retracement from the April 19th low to the June 20th high. Okay, yesterday was an all-time historic high. But now price is It's got to get through a few layers of support. But the BBC, the daily BBC, is lined right up with the 24% retracement. Okay? So, to become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. If you have any questions, call us at 949-42-EMINI or send an email, support@cfrn.net. Now, 9 out of 10 new traders will fail only because they don't have someone to teach them how to read the chart and how to trade. Before you could go down any career path, remember, as a young boy or girl, 4 or 5 years old, 6, a teacher or a parent taught you how to read. That enabled you to get through school, graduate high school, and then go to college and become whatever it is you want to become. But remember, it all started when that teacher taught you how to read. Unfortunately, 9 out of 10 new traders don't have a living, breathing human being to teach them how to read. And I mean read the charts. Every chart tells a story. And over time, we can teach you how to read that story in the proper context and learn to take the appropriate action. So we do 2 hours of live training every trading day. Now, just because you become a member, that doesn't mean you're going to become the 1 out of 10. You're going to have to show up. You're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to overcome some obstacles. And people say, well, how long does it take? Well, it takes as long as it takes. How long did it take you to learn how to read? Weeks, months? I don't know. I think I can teach you how to learn how to read a chart in a month. But again, you got to show up. You got to do the work. At least with the passport, at least being a member, you have a fighting chance at becoming the 1 out of 10. But without an actual teacher, you're probably destined to be the 9 out of 10. So the ball's in your court. Along with the live training every day for 2 hours, you get private one-on-one mentoring at no additional charge. The strategy, the indicators that you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flows from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. As a member, passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, the weekly trading zones, and you're able to attend the members-only workshop every Thursday night. Plus, you get the golden key that opens the private channels in Telegram. So not only will you be able to come to the members-only workshop on Thursday night, but that golden key will get you into the vault where years of previous members-only workshops are archived. So you'll have so much material at your fingertips. That plus us teaching you how to read the chart so that you can learn how to trade. It really is everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. mytradingiq.com, 949-42-EMINI, support@cfrn.net. Let's wrap this week up with our good word for the day. How Jesus dealt with. Now, we started out a new devotion today called Who is Jesus? And our good word for today just so happens to be how Jesus dealt with sin. In John chapter 8, here's some scripture for you. Then the scribes and Pharisees brought to him a woman caught in adultery. They said to him, Teacher, Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what do you say? Jesus stooped down and wrote on the ground with his finger, as though he did not hear. So when they continued asking him, he raised himself up and said to them, He who is without sin among you, let him throw the first stone. When Jesus had raised himself up and saw no one but the woman, he said to her, Woman, where are those accusers of yours? Has no one condemned you? She said, No one, Lord. And Jesus said to her, Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. Now that day Jesus demonstrated 3 things. Number 1, the hypocrisy of a double standard. Since this woman had been caught in the very act of adultery, surely they knew who the man was too. There's still a double standard today that looks down on a woman because of her past, while excusing a man by saying, he was just sowing his wild oats. The Pharisees used stones, we use words, but the victim ends up wounded regardless. Number 2, who alone is qualified to judge? He who is without sin, let him throw the first stone. Who was the only sinless one among them that day? Well, Jesus. So he alone is qualified to judge. And number 3, you can rise above your past. Go and sin no more. Those words could be rephrased. Go, and because you have had an encounter with Jesus, you can rise above your past. And that's our good word for the day and for the week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.